Ryan Chambers of Sarcastic Remarks joins the show. And yes, the Dallas Stars are hosting another outdoor game. Are you worried about the Stars' injuries, or are you worried about how they're trending on the ice? Plus, the Stars and Mavs saga all coming up on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. And today we welcome back Ryan Chambers of Sarcastic Remarks once again. How are you doing, good sir? It's been a bit, and good to have you on once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I always appreciate you letting me come on and rant as a fellow Stars fan about things that are going on. But at least from the most part, there's a lot of good things going on. So exciting things going on. And just from a personal standpoint, I can actually start to give the Stars a little bit more of my attention. So I'm excited to see where the rest of the season goes.
Nothing wrong with that. We're going to get into, of course, the Stars play on the ice, and if Ryan has some concerns about what he's seeing from Glenn Gulutzan's squad, or do we just need to wait a little bit and get a bit healthier, get some of those key players back as well. Well, we'll touch on the Stars and Mavs saga a bit as well. I know Gary Bettman had something to say about that tonight, but he also had something big to say, which was positive. The Dallas Stars are going to host another outdoor game, semi-outdoor, I suppose, at AT&T Stadium. Yes, it was announced late tonight that the Dallas Stars will be hosting the 2027 NHL Stadium Series in February of 2027. And this just felt inevitable at some point. Every team was going to get a Stadium Series game, and Jerry World just felt like it was bound to happen for the Stars. So it all comes together. And it's nice that we do have a couple of teams in DFW that seem to be getting along fine here. But your reaction to the Stars getting to host another outdoor event?
Honestly, I'm really excited. So my first thing that I did is I went and looked to see if you could buy tickets already, because I was already on it. You can't yet, but I am very, very excited for this. This just made sense. Like in terms of, stadiums across the country, you think of Ann Arbor, Michigan, obviously University of Michigan. You think of Kyle Field, that maybe that can be on the radar in the future, maybe in a little bit. But having a game at one of the biggest stadiums in the country, maybe possibly in the world, it just makes sense for the NHL to kind of jump at this. And from what I understand, they have been working on this for a very long time. And we're talking like pre-COVID in terms of how long they've been working on this. Like around the time they were thinking of bringing the Winter Classic to Dallas and putting it out at the Cotton Bowl, this was also kind of in that same realm when they started kind of brainstorming and stuff like that. And I don't know if Jerry didn't want it at the beginning or not, or if, and that's why it took so long to get something going. But on the flip side of this, I think it was probably just a scheduling problem. I mean, there are so many things that go through that stadium. It's not just, professional football that happens there. I mean, we saw George Strait's, final farewell concert there years ago. I mean, obviously Taylor Swift goes through there, sells out like three shows there or something like that. So I think it's just a scheduling issue. And then the NHL kind of jumped the gun a little bit on it, which is a good thing in this terms. And I think this is going to be an excellent spectacle. And of course, the first question that everyone's asking is, can they beat the record of most fans at a hockey game, which right now is 2014, the Winter Classic at, like I mentioned, and in Ann Arbor, I think it was like 104,000 people were there. I think it will depend on who the Stars will be playing at that game. But because we still don't know, we obviously know it's the Stars. We just don't know who the opponent's going to be. But either way, it's going to be fun. I'll be excited to see if we can beat the record.
Yeah, this feels like a perfect venue for a Stadium Series as well. I don't think it fits the Winter Classic mold. You want the Winter Classic to be fully outdoors. And that's, of course, what we got at the Cotton Bowl in 2020, an amazing spectacle. I was lucky enough to be able to attend that. And that was perfect. And this just feels perfect for February. And I'm curious. I think there's be a lot of people that will just go to the game just to go to Jerry World and watch a hockey game, which may allow you to maybe creep and maybe get close to that number. Obviously, you can't hold that. I think the Cowboys probably get 100,000 easily every game when you're in standing room only and all that stuff. You always see those videos when it opens up and people rush in. I don't know if you're gonna get that for a Stars outdoor game, but opponents to kick around, I would love to see Colorado. I think that would be right up everybody's sleeve. You got the recent history, recent blood as well. You got the Mikko factor, of course, in the storyline. That would certainly help. That one is maybe too obvious. So I'm curious if the NHL is thinking something else, maybe another Southern team. It probably has to be within the Central Division as well. The Blues could be interesting. I know they've played in quite a few outdoor games, though, recently, so that may factor in, although who knows? They put Chicago and Boston in there every other year anyways, so they're probably going to kick around a lot of different options. But I think it will be a lot of fun, and it might be better for it to be sort of semi outdoors. I think it was reported they're supposed to have the roof open, but imagine from an NHL side of things and building a rink, it probably helps that you maybe can control the climate a bit more in AT&T Stadium. I'm sure they have a lot of things that they can use to their advantage to keep the ice fresh. That was one of the great things about the Cotton Bowl. It was sort of a good day. It was sort of cloudy and very overcast, and I think that certainly helped the ice surface. But should be a lot of fun. Stars hosting another outdoor game. Is there an opponent you have to have? Is it one that's obvious to you? I'm curious if you have one that you've bounced around.
I'm with you. It only makes sense for it to be Colorado. And honestly, I think Colorado fans would expect it to be them as well.
Yes.
I mean, again, for all the reasons you mentioned, the recent playoff history, the fact that Mikko is now there. There's a lot of Stars connections there too, with Valnichushkin, with Yoel Kiviranta. I mean, not as large as the Mikko factor, obviously, but that just seems too slam dunk for the NHL to do. So it's probably not going to happen. Because the NHL never does anything good to their favor sometimes. So if it was somebody else, if I had to take a wild guess, I would expect maybe Edmonton. Maybe Edmonton would be a decent factor. And I think especially, I think the playoffs will play a huge role into if the Oilers get chosen for this. Because if the Oilers, knock the Stars out again in the conference finals, or maybe if the Stars are a wild card in the Pacific side, whatever, doesn't matter. If they, play each other in the playoffs again, I could see that happening. I don't know if it means anything, but there was like an artist rendition, and it looked like that the other team that the artist picked was red and white. So I was thinking maybe the Red Wings, which makes some sense with the whole. I don't remember if they're still. If they are they in Central Time Zone? I don't think they are.
Detroit, no, I think they are Eastern.
Yeah.
I could be dead wrong on that, but yeah.
From another standpoint, it makes sense because they're an original 16. That would bring a little bit more eyes than if you had like Columbus or no offense to Ottawa, but Ottawa or one of those smaller market teams. Like I even think Buffalo would probably bring a bigger crowd than some other teams would. But I don't know. I like the Colorado idea. It just makes too much sense to me.
I do miss the Detroit Stars games back in the day too. I grew up going to a lot of those games.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, those were a lot of fun, especially in the building. The red and green just always popped. It was good aesthetics inside the building. I love the Edmonton shout just because if you're Jerry Jones, or if I know Jerry Jones, like I know Jerry Jones, he's like, give me the best player in the world and bring him here. So that feels like that could be him. He's like, well, if I'm going to host it, you're going to get the best player, whoever that is, and we're going to bring him here. So I could see Jerry telling Gary that, because I think we're fools to think he doesn't have maybe a say in who gets to come. I think he probably does have a little bit of sway, since he's Jerry Jones. That's what he does. He has to meddle in everything. Well, that's a good shout for some Stars positive news, hosting another outdoor game. Now let's talk about the play on the ice. So we got about a dozen games or so to kind of break down. I want to get Ryan's thoughts on the start to the season. If he has any worries here moving forward, we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. Let's be honest, most of us can't even name all our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth between 401ks, savings, investments. It can be easy to lose track, and that can be leaving money on the table. That's why you want to get Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or phone. It can help you organize your accounts, track your spending, get better handle on all your investments without ever having to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch's visual dashboards and smart tools make it so much easier to understand where your money's going and how to make it work harder for you. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarch.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Before I start peppering you with some more questions, Ryan, curious, how are you and the brothers doing? And what do you got cooking up with Sarcastic Remarks? Would love for you to fill in the fan base here about what you guys got going on, and anything you got maybe in the bag in the next few weeks or so.
Just a lot of the same stuff. We're doing Sundays and Wednesday nights this year for the most part. I think we are probably going to ramp up some of the after game reviews a little bit more often now. Now that a good portion of my life has opened up in terms of time management. So just a lot of the same stuff. We're looking forward to the rest of the season and seeing where it goes.
Very good. Please be sure to follow Sarcastic Remarks. You can find them wherever you get your podcast. The Chambers Brothers on Absolute Blast. So be sure to show them some love. Okay, Ryan, Stars 12 games in, 6-3-3. Currently, they're the first wild card spot in the Western Conference. So my question: what are the Dallas Stars? Who are the Dallas Stars here? 12 games in. Just your thoughts kind of on the opening dozen here.
They are a team trying to make changes on the fly and completely decimated by injuries in their forward group right now. And injuries I'm worried about. The coaching on the ice, the play on the ice, I'm not worried about. And the reason being is because the guys who we really needed to step up and be those point getters are doing that. Wyatt Johnston is being exactly who I thought he needed to be this year, especially with, the loss of like 60 goals off the roster with the Donoff, Marchment, etc. Granlund as well. But the reason why I'm not worried is because of the way that Glenn Gulutzan is going about his business. And specifically, there was a couple of weeks ago where the Stars had a really bad loss, and I was able to do an after game review with Chris about this particular game, and I'm just sitting there just ranting along, blah 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 blah. And while he is talking in between me ranting and trying to calm me down like he normally does, like he's supposed to do because he's the level-headed one, I am going on DallasStars.com and looking at what is he saying? Looking for, press conferences and how he's talking. And then it was so good, and some of the stuff that he was saying, that I actually paused everything that we had planned for and literally played parts of the press conference on the podcast live and we reacted to it while we were in live time. And just hearing him talk, I was just like, wow, okay, there's a reason why he got the head coaching gig. And it just calmed me down. It calmed me down. And this was after their 3-game winning streak and during their 4-game pointless streak. So this is in the midst of the Stars just absolutely sucking everything up right now. Like everything. Nothing was good. The offense was anemic. They were making turnovers in their own zone that were just completely and utterly oblivious. The goaltending was not good enough, including from Otten during those 4 games. And he just said simple little things, and he said, you know what? Don't worry about any of this stuff. This stuff is going to come up, and it's going to work out fine. And he said, this is just part of the process and learning some of the little things that I wanted them to learn. And he said, it will come along very, very soon. And sure enough, he was 100% right. The Stars went on to win the next 3 games after that 4-game pointless skid. And he even said during one of the post-game conferences, he's just like, they're starting to block shots, and you're starting to see the way that I actually truly want them to play. And from then on, I have not wavered in being confident in Glenn Gulutzan. I definitely wavered a little bit early on in the season, and that's okay because I'm a fan and everything. But the way he's going about his business now is literally just because of the decimation that the Stars are going through right now. Like, I mean, when you have a point per game player last year in the regular season, Matt Duchene out, and your number 1 center, Roope Hintz, is out, and your captain, and, I know Oscar Beck played last night, but he's mostly been out for a majority of the season. Like, that was a solid guy that Pete DeBoer could rely upon last year for some minutes, especially on the defensive side. I mean, that's a lot. And not to mention Lundqvist, who started off really, really well, and Lord knows the kid can't stay healthy, the poor guy.
Yeah.
But they are facing a lot of injuries right now, and they're keeping their heads above water. They're doggy paddling right now, and they're keeping themselves relevant in the playoff conversation. So I'm not worried right now.
Yeah, they're hemorrhaging. That's for sure. It's really tough to evaluate them. I think to some degree too. I certainly have criticisms of their play, but I feel if they get back fully healthy and have all the components that we expected coming into the season, they're going to do a lot of good things. I think we saw that even off the hop. I know they were without Jamie Benn, but the first 3 games, I know there was a stinker against Colorado, but we saw a lot of good against Winnipeg. We saw a lot of good against Minnesota. And I think that is what Gulutzan was trying to deliver on. I think that was his message. That was his approach. It's one of the things that I really applauded the Stars on in the early going. I felt like everything that Gulutzan talked about in the offseason was very apparent pretty early in those first 3 games. They strayed away. You mentioned the defense is really tightened up since that Blue Jackets loss where they gave up 5. They've given up 3. They've given up 2 shutout against the Caps, 2 against the Lightning, and 4 the other night against Florida. That Florida swing, I think, was gigantic for them just to pick up 2 points. They lost very gracefully in those 2 games. Those were just really, really tough opponents, of course. You mentioned the injuries. Their 5-on-5 play still is a bit horrific at times, but they just have to do enough, and they just have to find ways to win. I think that's just the name of the game right now. They're relying a lot on their power play. I think I saw 12 of the last 15 goals, I think, or something like that is on the man advantage. They have to find a way to be a bit better at 5-on-5, but I would like to equate some of that to some of your missing pieces, like Roope drives the play. Duchene, of course, drives the play. And they're just asking a lot of guys to play in these roles that they just have never played before. I mean, you're asking Blackwell to, be a top 6 guy. You're asking Ritskovian to play in all areas as a rookie, and he's looked really good. There's just a lot of versatility. There is a lot of shuffling. It's just all sort of discombobulated. And you see that in their play sometimes. You see that in stretches, sometimes full periods, where the Stars will go like 15 minutes without a shot. But they're still holding the fort down all right. And they have things to work on, of course. But generally, I think you look at, the first 12 games, 6-3-3, as I said, that's pretty good. We came into the year talking about how hard that first month was going to be. So I think we would all take that at this point, especially with the injuries. Fully healthy, maybe it's a bit different, but even then, to be, as you kind of said, they're hanging around. I think that's what they have to do. They kind of just got to hang around until Thanksgiving, hopefully get some guys back. Jamie, I'm thinking Thanksgiving, I said, is probably generous when he returns. So, yeah, there's been good. There's just been ugly, but I think that's the case for a lot of teams right now. And the Stars just have to figure out what they are. I know Jim Nill has said you kind of figure out what team you are from game 20 to 30. So, we're a bit of a ways from that, but they got some work to do, of course, but there's been some positives for sure. Is there a surprise on the Stars that you can think of? Maybe that you've been maybe pleasantly surprised or were not expecting coming into the year that you've liked so far? It can be an individual, could be a department offensively or whatever.
The one I'm a little bit surprised about, and I'll do the negative first just to get it out of the way. The penalty killing has surprised me.
Yeah,
I think we're 25th is the last I checked. I don't know where we're at right now. That is a little bit surprising to me because a lot of the personnel is still the same from last year, and it's still the same defensive coach, with Naz being the main guy there, Alain Nasruddin. So I'm not sure what the change is there. If maybe Glenn Gulutzan came in and said, hey, we're going to try this style, and he changed it to penalty killing style, which I'm surprised if he did because the penalty killing's been really good the last 3 years with Alain Nasruddin. But on the negative side, that's one that I think I would like to see get a lot better. On the positive side, there's not really anybody that's really like stuck out to me in terms of, oh my gosh, this guy's been amazing. But I have loved watching Maverick Bourke play this year. He seems a lot more confident in what he's doing. He's getting his opportunities, especially now with the way that the Stars' top 6 is decimated with injuries. And he's getting to play with, in some cases, he's getting to play with Rantanen and Wyatt Johnston in a lot of cases. And I think he's played very well. I think you would probably want a little bit more from him offensively, especially with the guys out of the lineup. But I have thoroughly enjoyed watching him play the season, and he's starting to rack up some points. And at the end of the year, we were, Chris and James and I were kind of hoping for 40 to 50 points, and he's right around that level right now to kind of be on track for that. So I'm excited to see what Maverick Bourke can continue to do. And plus, he looks really good with Wyatt Johnston and Robertson. And I know they've kind of gone away from that line a little bit. They've kind of gone top heavy now, like extreme top heavy now. But he has looked really good on the line with those two guys as well.
I like that you brought him up, and I hope the points do start coming a bit more regularly for him, because then he'll maybe be talked about more. But he just does so many little things that are not going to show up on the stat sheet. He makes a lot of winning plays, I guess, if you want to use the cliche. And he works hard on the defensive side. He creates a lot, especially below the goal line. I think he's one of the few guys that feels like he can win battles along the walls, especially on the forecheck. And get pucks out in front, get him to some of the playmakers, right? Get him to Robo and Johnston. And yeah, hopefully the point production does blow up a bit, because then he'll be recognized a bit more. I think he's been rather good. if he continues to grow like this, I think that the Stars will be in good shape. And maybe that's is where, a player like him can benefit from the injuries because, he's not going to have to be sheltered or I think, pre Hintz and Duchene, he was only playing about 12 minutes a night. I was like, they got to get him some more. Now he's closer to about 15, and I think that's good for him. So it allows him to continue to grow a bit as well. So those are some of the positives, some of the concerns with the Stars moving forward through the first 12 games. They got Edmonton tomorrow night. That will be a fun one, of course. But let's discuss the Stars and Mavs saga a bit. I'm curious Ryan's opinion. I really don't have a strong stance on it, so I'm curious if you do, and would love to hear your opinion on the whole matter. So we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app gives the fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. Game Time allows you to view your seat before you buy it, so you don't have to worry about getting blocked out. They have zone deals, which are a game changer. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. You can find NHL tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKED. Own NHL. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Well, I've seen a lot of commentary on the lawsuits between the Stars and Mavs, and at least from what I see, and again, I'm sure I'm mainly seeing a Stars bias, of course, since I have a Stars account. People aren't very happy with the Dallas Mavericks and the lease that's coming up, and now the Mavs are suing the Stars. I think it was said tonight, Gary Bettman actually answered a question, and he thought the lawsuit was a bit frivolous, I think was the adjective his use. So they don't seem to be very worried about it. But, I did an episode on, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I want to care, but I'm just like it feels like two organizations that, are getting in a spat, and really all it does is I think the only real effect is it hurts the fans more than anything. So it's like, what the heck's going on? So I'm curious where you kind of see what is your side of things on all this, and the potential move from the AAC and all that stuff. It's just really complex, and my goodness, it's just stupid.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, you said the perfect word. The entire thing is stupid. Okay. Yeah. Pardon my French here for a second, but they're both saying mine's bigger than yours. Yes. It basically is what they're saying right now between the two teams. Now, looking at it, I think the Stars are at fault here in terms of legally. I think I haven't done a whole lot of research on it, but from what I understand, and the people that I trust to look more into like the legal side of this junk, I think the Stars are in a bit of trouble with this financially. I think there are some things that the Mavs have a reason for it, for filing the lawsuit. Now, the city of Dallas itself has chosen the side, and they have chosen the side of the Mavericks. And for me, that is a really stupid move if I'm the city of Dallas. Because we all understand and we all know what the Dallas Mavericks are currently trying to do. At least the current majority owners, they want to basically have their own entertainment district, and they don't want it to be at the current spot, the American Airlines Center. So there ain't much land left where, you would want to build an entertainment district in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so I think the true losers in all of this is the city of Dallas, because if they choose the side of the Mavericks, and even if the Mavericks win, the Mavericks are going to go off and do their thing of what they want to do. And I think the Stars are going to get upset about that. And originally, for the longest time, I was just like, you know what? The Stars are not going to move from the AAC. And they're just going to stay put because they've put a lot of interest into this into this arena, into
Yeah.
the area around it. I mean, I remember when the arena was first built and there was nothing around it, and now it's probably the shortest building around that little
Yeah,
area
yeah.
around Victory Park. The city of Dallas just did not make a smart decision in this. They should have stayed out of it and then let the two teams figure it out, because I think they're going to lose both teams.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah. Well,
go ahead.
from what I understand too, like the Mavs want to build their own basketball only arena. That's
Right.
sort of part of their future plan. So, from a Stars perspective, why would you agree to all these renovations to the AC if you feel like the Mavs are just going to go off and do their own thing? I don't know. And maybe split it 50-50. Yeah, it is curious, but please finish your point. I'm just fascinated by the whole thing. And it just also, it's like all of a sudden we have an issue with where the Stars headquarters are and all this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So please finish.
Well, and the other thing about this too is I wouldn't have been worried about the Stars moving to, Plano. I think they're looking at the shops at Willow Creek. I think I said, is that correct?
Bend, I think.
Willow Bend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's a realistic option now,
Yeah.
and I hate
like
it. I hate it because I don't know. It's something about being in downtown Dallas and just I don't know. I'll use one of my middle school band students' terms, the aura surrounding that area of town. And I know it's not the greatest area of town, but like every time I walk up to that building, and maybe it's just a nostalgic thing, maybe it's just the atmosphere, but it's just so cool every single time I walk up there. And I just don't think that you get the same aura, the same atmosphere that you would if you were in the suburbs in Plano, Frisco, maybe even McKinney. I doubt they'd go out that far up to McKinney, but maybe they would. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, this is a shock. This is all of a sudden a surprise and everything." I was just like, "This has been going on for almost a year now, where they've been, quietly under the rug bickering, trying not to make each other look bad." And then finally the Mavs just got butthurt and said, "You know what? Screw y'all," and filed the injunction. And then the Stars countersued. I'm not sure where this ends. I don't like it. It's like parents fighting. I love the Mavericks, and I love the Stars, the players, not the management of the Mavericks. But I don't see how this ends well for either team. I don't. And it ultimately, like you said, it hurts the fans more than anything. And so we'll just have to wait and see how this goes, how this lines up. And I don't know.
Well, I certainly agree with you. Like, I don't want the Stars to move too. And again, you use the silly word or the slang word aura, but I think that's really apropos. I think that was a word I was looking for when I kind of did an episode on this. I was like, it's the vibe of going downtown. I also think the public transportation, which Dallas has not very much of to begin with. We all talk about that in the Metroplex, about kind of how horrible the public transportation is. Well, I don't think you're not going to have any that are going out to at least that part of Plano. I could be completely wrong on that. Maybe they open up something. I don't know, but I think that really struggles. And either way, you're going to alienate some part of your fan base, right? Those that maybe live Fort Worth, those living out to Arlington, like that's a really long trek. I even think, I live, my parents' home, like East Richardson, like I went to Plano schools. I still think it would probably be about, like, if I drove to downtown to get to the AC and drove to this new location, it'd probably be about the same time, just because traffic sucks anyways. I really don't think it would matter. I really do. Just getting on the Bush, getting on 75, wherever Dallas North Toy, it's going to be disaster either way. That's just what it's like in the Metroplex. When I go home, I'm like, it's 1:00 in the afternoon. It is like bumper to bumper. It's just kind of how it is in a lot of places. There's a lot of people there. So, man, I hope it does get solved. But he's like, I want it to be downtown. I don't want the Stars to move there. the Dallas Stars. You play in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case for, the Cowboys and whatnot. They do their own thing, but that's kind of how I see it. And I would like them to stay put, of course. If they have to build their own arena down there today, that's what they got to do. But I do like the AAC too. I think it has good bones. Of course, teams want to upgrade, and I get it. But yeah, it's intriguing.
Now, the only thing about all of this is that I was kind of like meh. Well, like you, I'm just like, okay, this is stupid. And this is like, of course, I'm going to take the Stars side because I care more about the Stars than I do the Mavericks. But I also acknowledge the fact that there was some wrongdoing probably by the Stars, right? And if the legal wording of this says all like it says, like the Mavericks say that it does, then the Stars definitely, didn't do the right thing. Okay. However, then there comes out to, and I didn't believe this when I first saw this, but it was actually Leah and Sam and a couple of others. Even Robert mentioned something about it too. The Mavericks in their suit used the term to describe the Stars' conduct, terroristic.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was just like, okay, really poor choice of words, first off.
Yes.
Okay. And then second, that just made me feel like, first off, like every Dallas team is trying to say, here, hold my beer for being the worst sports franchise in Dallas.
Yeah. Like that, I think like it's gone sour. Like if that word's thrown out, you feel like it's had to go on really sour between
like
the two front offices.
Like I understand you're trying to make your opponent look as bad as possible, and the Stars are their opponent, but using that word in that context in terms of sports business is the worst word choice I think I've ever seen. Yeah. And everyone else kind of, if you look online, if you look at social media, everyone was like, terroristic, really? Really?
Yeah.
And then at least in the court of public opinion, that just pushed everybody towards the Stars' favor.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way more than anything. And I was just like, okay, now I'm starting to see like, okay, the Mavericks might just truly be being petty, and they just want everybody in the DFW area to hate them. Their fellow sports teams, and along with fans are still kind of sour about the Luka trade still, even all this time.
Yeah.
Later.
No.
So I just don't understand the Mavericks' choice of words on that and why they're doing that. They really must be that butthurt in order to use a word like that.
Yeah, well, the Mavs can't get out of their own way, I suppose. So,
it's like the NHL, I guess.
Yeah, you could say you could use that term about a lot of franchises. I feel like in DFW, if it's one thing you can be proud about with the Stars, it's we got a lot of professional, at least from the outside looking in, a lot of professional stand-up people seem to be doing the best they can and trying to put the best product out for their fans year in and year out. Brad Alberts, Jim Nill, whoever, they've done a really nice job, and I think Stars fans are really lucky. I think we have to feel lucky, and we have to be proud of that fact. And I know, like you said, a lot of us are Mavs and Cowboys fans, and sometimes they're good to be the butt of the joke. But for all the Stars issues on the ice, maybe at times they put a pretty good face on. They're doing some good stuff, and hopefully that continues. So, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think what the injunction hearings, I think is what it's called, are at the end of the month. So maybe we'll learn more and see if the city see what the city decides. I suppose. Okay, one more. We'll let you go. Mm-hmm. Where do you see, let's say Thanksgiving, of course, it's always kind of the benchmark, right? Of, teams who's going to make the playoffs and whatnot. Where do you see the Stars Thanksgiving? A little projecting here the next few weeks. Schedule starts to ease up a bit, but where do you see the Stars around Thanksgiving time?
I think they're going to be top 3 in the division. To be honest with you. I don't think they will be able to be number 1. That's just my personal opinion. I think it's Winnipeg's or Colorado's to lose. I don't think Utah is going to be able to hold up their start to the season like they have. Although they have been fun to watch. I have watched more games of the Utah Mammoth than I did last year. So I think I've watched 3 of their games so far this year, and they look fantastic, ridiculous. And JJ Peterka of all players looks really good. So
yeah,
I think that's where they'll be. They'll be top 3. And even if they are a wild card in around Thanksgiving, I'm not going to be upset. I will be much more worried when we get to February if we're still like a wild card team.
Yeah,
like that I will be worried. But if we're like kind of in and out between number 3 or the wild card, I would be okay with that, just because again the injuries this team is having to go through right now is a lot. And sorry, random side tangent just for a quick second.
no worries.
Again, does it feel like that there are just way more injuries in general around the NHL right now than ever before, or is it just me? I'm just paying attention to it more.
No, I mean, you look at what Barkov,
Kachuk,
right? Kachuk.
I mean, Stone is out now too.
Yeah, Stone is out.
Ben?
Aiden Hill get hurt. Yeah, no, I think you probably right on that, or maybe it's just key guys, like key players, so they have a little bit more notoriety that you hear about it a bit more. But no, I think you're absolutely right. Well, at least from a Stars perspective, man, a couple of years ago, it's like no one could get hurt. And then, kind of started with Miro. It felt like last year, and everything started top play, man. I like sort of how he started. I just like to see them get healthy and see what they are fully, because, no one goes into the season, thinking like this is what they're going to be. And if they're fully healthy, I feel like, we can get a real nice evaluation of them. If they're still doing the things they're doing, then I'm probably going to have a different perspective on it.
Right.
But for right now, I'm going to make some excuses. Just be like, yeah, the injuries are hurting. I mean, this is it's key guys too. Like it's key guys that, maybe a couple years ago, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But the Stars' depth it's just not where was. I think that's fair to say. Like they still have some good players, but man, these really hurt. So they get fully healthy. Man, let's see this team at full flight, and then I can crap on them if they still suck. Well, they don't suck. Okay, they don't suck. They're 6-3-3. It's a good start through 12 games, and they got a nice lengthy point streak going. So if they can continue to, lose gracefully, pick up some big wins on the way, they're going to be in good shape. Hopefully that starts tomorrow. Another national televised game. God, they're on national television every other week, every other game. Good for them. I mean, we usually complain that they're not on national television. So the league wants to get them out there. So that's good.
I think that's like their 3rd out of their last 4.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So
ridiculous.
A little Western Conference final rematch. We're going to have to relive that, I'm sure, 80 times. I'm sure they'll love to tell us that multiple times tomorrow, but it'll be a good one. We'll enjoy that, and we'll talk about it in the next episode. Ryan, thank you as always, man. Appreciate it. For hopping on. Hope all is well with you. Again, plug all your great stuff that people know can find you, and where they can get some more Chambers-ness.
Yes, Chambers-ness. Yes.
Yes.
Well, again, thanks for having me on, man. I have always have a blast talking with you. So just. I mean, I could continue on for another hour. Honestly.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
I have to go to work tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, as do I. Yeah. So, but at Sarcastic R, if you're listening to me for the first time, you've heard my voice for the first time. At Sarcastic R, that's basically anywhere and everywhere. I mean, literally TikTok, Instagram. We're pretty active on X. That's probably our most active platform in terms of like daily content. And then, YouTube, we have our YouTube channel as well. And then anywhere you listen to your podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're basically everywhere and anywhere you can find us. So, we'd appreciate your support and, just listening to me and Chris and James bicker a little bit more.
Yes.
Joey and I here are very much more calm compared to Chris and James and I. There are literally times, y'all, that we get into it and we call each other stupid, and people are worried. It was like, did the Chambers brothers just get upset at each other or live on the internet? And we're like, no, guys, we're fine. We just get into it, and because we're passionate about it. So, but it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's like a boy band. All it takes is for one of you guys that want to go solo. Next thing you know, you're going to be, Ryan or Chris going to go solo.
Right, exactly.
Going to leave the group, and then it all goes to shambles. Well, good stuff, man. Appreciate it. Stars fans, have a great rest of your night. Little late night edition of Locked On Stars for you. We'll see you tomorrow, and talk to you then. So long.